Knit a corner to corner blanket in a rectangle. The Grandma's rectangle blanket lets you make a simple corner to corner blanket as a rectangle. The double eyelet edge creates a beautiful border for the smooth stockinette center of this easy blanket pattern. I've included two common sizes, crib and twin size, for your babies and adults, but you can easily follow this pattern to make any size rectangle and work with other needles or yarn than we have listed. We will have a right and left-handed tutorial, and we're going to be concentrating on the middle section of this rectangle blanket. We do have a video for the C2C corner to corner Grandma's blanket, which is a square, which covers the beginning section and the end. So you've got the increases and then the decreases, but this video is going to concentrate on this middle part so that you can create a rectangle. All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. To get the written pattern as well as information on the needles and the yarn used, please click down on the video description below and get the link to our blog. We have the pattern without ads on our Ravelry and Etsy stores as well, if you like that. We do have the square pattern available as well as this rectangle pattern, so either one are available to you, whether you want to get it on our blog with ads or if you want to get it off of Ravelry and Etsy stores as a file without that. We also have a right and left-handed tutorial, so click down below in the video description to get the one that you need. We do knit it right-handed, but we'll flip the video for our left-handed knitters to make that for you much easier. Please be sure and check out the patterns, and then we're going to jump right into the diagram to explain the part that we're going to cover in this video and how to achieve a rectangle for yourself. And then we'll go into the 4-row repeat you need to work this middle section so that you can get that rectangle look. All right, we'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we're going to look quickly at our notes here, and I want to really talk about this diagram so you can understand how this pattern is put together. We have 3 basic sections, and I'm going to cover that here, but first I want to say, using this pattern, you're going to make a rectangle blanket with any weight yarn and an appropriate needle size, but all the measurements and stitch counts listed in the above sizes, which are the crib and the twin sizes, are going to be specific to the needles and the yarn listed in this pattern, whether on the blog or you've gotten on our PDF. Grandma's rectangle blanket is worked from corner to corner, or C to C, in sections. See this schematic here? Section 1 begins at this cast on corner. You're going to work in this direction with a red arrow until you reach the desired width of your shortest edge of your blanket. So this part right here is going to be your short edge of your blanket. So when you get to that length that you want, or width of your blanket, then you're going to stop, and then all the stitches that you have on your needles is going to maintain. Okay, you're going to keep that stitch count as you make section 2, which is the video that we're going to do here, and I'm going to show you that repeated 4-row repeat to continue this one. And we're going to work in this direction with the red arrow, continuing along until you get your desired length of your blanket. So we're going to go all the way along here. This is our long edge, so it adds what we're adding on the length here, and then it retains this. So on mine, I've got a stitch marker showing you this part here, okay? And then you're adding on length here and adding on length here. And then when you get to that desired length of the long edge, you're going to start your decrease section, which is section 3. And then it starts working back and forth and down, all the way down until your bind off corner. So you're going in this direction now. So it's kind of a little zigzag, but it actually ends up making a rectangle. So let's look at this next page. This is where you're going to have your tutorial videos. We will have the links for the video that's in here in right and left-handed. And then you're going to be working section 1. You'll stop this video. You can watch this 4-row repeat section so you understand, but then you're going to want to save the video you're watching now. Go ahead and go to sections 1 and 3 that are in that this other reference video. So you'll do section 1 and work that, pause it, come back to this video, work the second section, and then you'll go back to this other video. So this is the square one for grandma's eyelet blanket, which is a square corner to corner video, and all you need is this middle section. So let's just jump over this pattern real quick before we begin. So you're going to be casting on your 4 stitches. You're going to work this beginning part, and then you're going to work your 4-row repeat of increases until you get to the width of your blanket width that you want here, okay, your desired width, okay, and then you repeat those, and then we'll do the middle section, which is the one we're doing now, and then you're going to keep going until you get to that desired length, and then you have your decreases. So this pattern includes all the instructions you need for that part. So grab your pattern, have this middle part, and I'm going to cover this part right here. We're going to be adding a stitch on a row, taking away a stitch, adding a stitch, taking away, and I'm going to show that to you right now. Okay, so we are working in section 2, the middle section, and this is knit on the bias, and it's just basically knitting it sideways. That's just a quick, easy way to say it, but this is knitting on the bias. We're on row 16, and we're going to start with a knit 2. So knit 1 and 2, our stitch count has not changed. Now we want to increase with a yarn over, and then we're going to knit 2, and increase with the yarn over, and now we have our 2 eyelets, and now we're going to knit 2 stitches together, and we're going to be reducing that stitch count. So we've added 2, and then we're taking 1 away. Okay, so we have plus 1 stitches instead of plus 2 stitches. Okay, so it would have been plus 2 with the yarn over, but now we've just got just a plus 1, okay? And then you're just going to knit to the end of the row. Go ahead and knit to the end of the row, pause your video, come back, and we'll work on row 17. See you soon. All right, we're on row 17 on the wrong side, and now we want to have 1 stitch less on this row. We're going to go back down to our original stitch count. We're going to knit 1 and then knit 2 together, and then yarn over, knit 1 and knit 2 together, and yarn over, and then we're going to knit 1 and knit 2 together, and that will take us back down to our original number. Okay, and now we're just going to purl to the last 6 stitches and knit those last 6 stitches, and this will maintain your borders and the correct stitch count. All right, pause your video, keep going. I will meet you for the next row, row 18. See you soon. All right, so we are on row 18, the right side again, and we're going to be adding 1 stitch on this row. So if you notice, we're going to be adding 1 stitch, or being plus 1 a stitch on this right side row on the very beginning, and then on the opposite side, on the wrong side, we are taking away a stitch. So it's constantly shifting in that direction. Okay, so right side row 18, knit 1, and then we're going to knit front and back. So we're going to knit in the front of the stitch, swing around to the back of the stitch, and knit that. And you can also KFB in the front, and then the back stitch can just slip on there, and that works just the same as the other. You just want to do it consistently. So whichever way you do it, consistently do it the same way throughout the pattern. Okay, so we knit 1 front and back. After that, you're just going to knit to the end of the row. So we've just increased by 1 on that 2nd stitch. It's really the 3rd stitch in now. Continue doing that, pause your video. I'll see you for row 19. See you soon. All right, we are on row 19, our wrong side row. This is the 4th row in our 4-row repeat. We're going to knit 1 and knit 2 together, and that is our 1 decrease. Then we're going to knit 4, 2, 3, 4, and now you can see our first 6 stitches of our border, or first 6 stitches of our pattern, which marks the border, and then the rest of these until the last 6 stitches will be purled. So purl to the last 6 stitches, and then you'll knit the last 6 stitches. And that is that on that repeat. So pause your video, we come back, we'll just talk about the remaining just for a moment. We'll see you soon. That is how you work those 4-row repeats. You've got your extra eyelets on this side, the ones on the other end, and it's just shifting the pattern in this direction here to continue on. So you're adding +1 on this side, -1, +1, -1. So it keeps the same stitch count from when you got to this point here. Okay, so you're increasing, got to this point here. On this small sample, just for our demonstration purposes, this one, just if you're curious, this one was 50 stitches wide. And so I just kept this same 4-row repeat up, and it just incrementally adds it like this. So trust me, I promise you this works. It just keeps going and it works it into this rectangle. And so when you get to that point of your longest length, I do suggest adding one more 4-row repeat, because when you start making your decreases, it will start to turn the corner, and it sort of makes it go down just a little bit on your it won't be a point out to here, so you lose maybe a 1/4 inch or something. So you can add that 4-row repeat if you want or not. So once you get to this point, you're going to want to start the section 3 for decreases, and you're going to find that video down in the links below. Next on this video, I'm going to show you this blanket complete after I've done the decrease section, just so you can see how it finished off. And I'll put a stitch marker in along here so you can see where that point was, and I'll put one over here. All right, we'll see you in a moment. All right, so I have my finished very small blanket. Of course, this is not the full size, and I want you to keep in mind, this is just to get something on camera to show you. So if you remember, I had a stitch marker here. This is that metal stitch marker. I went ahead and added a yellow one in, and I also put it across the way at the other corner here. So we worked our first section with that first corner, and it stops here. And as we worked, I actually made about 12 repeats on mine. So you can see my kind of straight knitting. I'm going from here to here and from here to here, because I measured my length that I wanted from this corner to this corner. All right, so I got that part, and then I started on my decrease. So I went ahead and marked up here with this purple stitch marker, and over here with this purple stitch marker, and you can see where my decreases started for my 3rd section of the pattern, and it goes all the way to the end, to the last 4 stitches. And then you're done, and then you weave in your tails. My tails aren't woven in, but I just wanted you to see it this way with the stitch markers on here. So this is just for visual purposes. It does have a slight angle to it. I'm holding this straight on here, and this part does have a little bit of an angle to it, and this part kind of has a little bit of an angle too. They're not really severe. It looks a little different on the camera just because of how my camera is tilted, but it's definitely a rectangle. But when you make the larger size for the baby the crib blanket or the twin size adult blanket, it's not going to be as noticeable because it's just on a larger scale. This one just looks different because it's just super small. You wouldn't really want to make it this size. So anyway, I hope that has helped you. I look forward to seeing your blankets. Be sure and tag me at GoodKnitKisses on Instagram. I'd love to see yours. Please comment down below, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy knitting, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.